What up, YouTube? We're back with another banger reaction video, number 5. These Google Trend searches from Baron Coleman keep getting better and better, or worse and worse, depending on how you look at it. One thing's for sure, we're way past this thing being just a coincidence. Leave your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe, and you already know this is for entertainment purposes only, so don't come for me. Okay, y'all ready to roll? Let's jump straight to the video.
All right, guys, welcome in. I wish I had better bumper music. I wish I had some kind of intro or whatever. But hey, you get what you get. I want to jump right into it. I don't have a ton of time tonight. If you followed this channel for very long, I had to mark some of the videos private because as this thing sort of took off and I started getting viewers that weren't just friends and family or people I've known for a long time, I realized I had a lot of private information on my YouTube channel. So I marked a lot of that stuff private. The only thing that's still public is stuff I'm really comfortable sharing with the wider world. But most of you know, for those who've been around for a period of time, Sunday night is typically the night I go. I can't do it this Sunday night. I will not be available this Sunday night to do it, so I'm going to do it tonight instead. And I think it's actually pretty good because it's right on the heels of what we just covered. So let me jump right into it. Because over the past few weeks, I've produced what I think is a pretty compelling case that nearly every aspect of the events leading up to and including Charlie Kirk's final day alive on Earth can be found in what was until very recently a little known and seldom used analytics tool in Google known as Google Trends. And I've spent hours painstakingly most of the time reviewing some of what I found over the course of weeks, researching what happened to Charlie Kirk and perhaps why Charlie Kirk is no longer counted among the living. And nevertheless, there's a significant amount of confusion that exists about Google Trends analytics. I understand that. It's new. And even people who've watched the last several shows, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours of shows I've done on Google Trends, a lot of people still have some confusion about it. And I suppose that's to be expected when people are introduced to a new tool. So I will tonight, using searches that we've not discussed yet on this channel, we will look not only at the content of the searches, we'll also look at what they mean. In other words, using real examples from Google Trends, I will help explain to you the best I can explain what the numbers mean and why the results are in the Google Trends tool. I've stated it repeatedly, and I will state it here tonight early and emphatically. I do not ascribe guilt, or I guess conversely innocence, to any particular party. I make no claims about what happened and who did right or wrong in any of this. All I'm doing is showing my opinion on the facts as I see them and what facts there are to be found in Google Trends. I'll give you an example. I was contacted today via Facebook by someone on behalf of Steve Nealman. Steve Nealman. Now, if you remember the show, I think a couple of shows ago, Steve Nealman was one of the surgeons who appeared in the Google Trends results in July of this year, coming from overseas. And he was among 6, I think, other surgeons from Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Utah. Again, a fine hospital, fantastic hospital. I'm sure these surgeons have hearts of gold. I ascribe nothing to them other than the fact that their names were in the Google Trends tool, and they weren't. Now, I was told today by this associate who contacted me that Dr. Nealman no longer performs surgery, and he hasn't performed surgeries in over 10 years. Okay, I accept that claim at face value. But I also accept at face value that the name Stephen Nealman is listed publicly on the internet as someone who does surgeries at the hospital. That's how I found his name to search for it in the first place. I didn't hallucinate the name. I didn't dream up the name. And I think, though, this is an instructive, nice pedagogical moment here. This furthers my point in this entire series. Someone, somewhere, is taking a very keen interest in particular people and places in and around Orem, Utah, and by extension, the Charlie Kirk universe. That's why I started this series. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. The Google Trends tool is limited. It can't answer who physically sat down and performed the searches. In other words, who banged the keys. It can't answer that. But it does record, as accurately as far as I can tell, that these searches were in fact performed on the dates the tool claims they were performed. And the IP addresses related to those searches are tied to very real places on Earth that the Google Trends tool claims they're tied. In other words, if you search for the name Bill Smith and it shows up that someone in Canada searched the name Bill Smith around midnight last night, that happened. That name was searched on Google to an IP address tied to Canada. Now, we've talked a million times about how IP addresses might appear somewhere. But it doesn't change the fact that somebody's interested in these things in a very tight timeline. So if Steve Nealman's associate is concerned by the presence of his name on this YouTube channel, I'll submit I'm more concerned. I'm more concerned that Steve Nealman's name is on the Google Trends tool. We should all be more concerned that his name appears on a Google Trends tool in the first place, especially nestled as it was among so many other names of other surgeons in the area. And within a very tight timeline, as we discussed, all things considered, a couple weeks. So tonight we'll look at Tyler Robinson's legal team. I've had a lot of questions about this. I've been given names. I'm taking it at face value that these people are in fact employed on his behalf and that they have an active attorney-client relationship with him. If they don't, then I'm mistaken. But I believe that's right. In my opinion, they are employed by him. So we'll ask the question, are their names in the Google Trends tool? If so, when? And where? We can answer those two questions. I have those answers in front of me right now. What we can't answer is why, at least not definitively. We can ask the question, we cannot define it. We'll also answer a question I posed Sunday about the identification of a curious photographer in the front row of Charlie's appearance in Orem, Utah. If you remember, there was the guy with the ponytail and the hat and the camera. I now know who he is. I have now reviewed a lot of the pictures from that day that he took in stunning detail. I mean, he's a very, very talented photographer. No question about it. But there are some pictures missing from a very key moment that he's not posted publicly. The rest of them he's posted publicly. Or a lot of them he's posted publicly. I don't know what all he took. But assuming he was taking pictures when he was zoomed in behind the stage shortly before the final shot, he published dozens of pictures from that day, but he did not publish pictures from that moment, so we don't have an idea of what it was he was keen on behind the stage. I'd love to ask him why. And finally, Phil Lyman, who actually shows up in those pictures, believe it or not, by our mystery photographer we've identified. Phil Lyman and Adam Bartholemeuw from the Life is Driving video we reviewed Sunday were both in the comments to the video Sunday. Neither seemed very happy with my content, by the way. Shocking. I'm shocked. But neither reached out to me, except in the comments. I'm happy to interview either or both of them. I called Phil Lyman's phone today. Went straight to voicemail. I couldn't find a number for Adam Bartholemeuw, or I'd have called him. But I'm more than welcome. I foolishly probably, because I got a zillion emails. I gave my email, or an email for me, out over the air on the Sunday show that I did. And I've got a lot of emails. And so if either one of them wants to get in touch with me, my email's available, baron@baroncoleman.com. You can email me, and I will get back to you, and we will do an on-air interview. I'll ask you the questions I'm dying to ask you. You might have perfectly sound explanations, but I'm not going to fight it out in the comments. I'm not going to get involved in the comments. Well, with that, let's get right to it. Because I think we'll begin tonight with what I think is the biggest find relative to Charlie Kirk's legal team. His number one lawyer, I'm told, is a woman named Catherine Nestor. I've looked her up. She has a fantastic resume. She's brilliant. She's a great lawyer. So I asked myself, or actually one of you asked me, after you asked how many Adidas hoodies I have, one of you asked me, did Catherine Nestor get searched? And I said, well, let's look. In fact, I did find a search for Catherine Nestor. This is out of the District of Columbia. Again, I've done what I did here in response to some of the names Candace Owens had mentioned in some of her podcasts. She is so popular. She is so well watched that when she mentions a name, people crush Google searching the name. I mean, crush Google searching the name. So you really have to do a date limitation to account for her. She has her own, it's like a hurricane. Like she changes the landscape. But I looked for Catherine Nestor. I brought it down the date to around 6 months or so. 5-6 months leading up to the shoot. And here's what I found. Out of the District of Columbia, there was a hit on May 27th. Now let me explain, because I said I would do this. She's in Utah. Let me just explain a couple of things. One is I want to explain the Google Trends tool. The other thing is I want to explain kind of a nuance around capital murder cases. This is a capital murder case. A capital murder case cannot be tried by some bumpkin who's never tried a capital murder case. They won't allow it. The stakes are too high. So they make sure you've sat second chair on a certain number of capital murder cases before they will allow you to be first chair on a capital murder case. And it's for the defendant's own benefit. I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, can you put me in touch with a legal fee? I'd like to offer my services. That is not something I'm going to do. Getting involved in a criminal case is of no interest to me. I will neither contact his team, I will not put people in touch with his team, I will not suggest people contact his team. In fact, I will suggest you don't contact his legal team. But yes, she was searched in the District of Columbia, May 27, 2025. Well, she's a kind of a well-known lawyer here in America. Was she searched anywhere else? Is it possible? Oh, let me explain this real quick. I'll answer the other question in a second. When it says 100 right here, I'm seeing in some of the comments in the discussion of my videos on X in particular, I'm seeing that people misunderstand what that 100 means. It does not mean there were 100 searches done that day. In fact, what it means is we don't know the number of searches that were done, but every day is indexed to 100. The most searches on any given day are indexed to 100. So I will give you an easy example. There are 10 days. In each day, there's one more search than the day before. So on day 1, there's 1 search. On day 5, there's 5 searches. On day 10, there's 10 searches. The way that would come out on Google Trends, assuming all that data is captured and available to you, but if it's up on Google Trends and that's what they're trying to articulate to you, what they will show you is there's a 10 on the first day and a 100 on the 10th day. And it'll go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That's what Google Trends, that's what indexing is. So if you index something to 100, and that 100 represents X, 1/2 of X is going to be 50. You can't have 2X, in other words. Everything has to be a fraction of X, or a percentage of X. So I hope that clears it up. Because I'm not going to give any other explanation. You can ask Grok, you can ask ChatGPT. There are lots of services out there that will provide you an explanation. Now, what about Catherine Nestor overseas? We've noticed a lot of these searches have originated overseas and in a particularly tight time window. Does that hold true for Tyler Robinson's legal team? Lo and behold, it does. Lo and behold, it does. Again, remember the date, July 20. This is the date I've been telling you for weeks now. For 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I've noticed there is something happening on Google Trends around July 20, in particular a week before or a week after July 20. A lot of the surgeons, for example, if you go back and look, a lot of the surgeons were searched around July 20th, July 15th, July 18th, July 23, July 25. So this is weird to me. If I'm a Utah policeman, if I'm in the FBI, and I come across this cache of videos that I've put up over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I start seeing, now you may not be a believer. You may look at this and say, what a coinky-dink. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But let me ask you a question. If you hadn't seen me and knew nothing about me, and you didn't even know what Google Trends was, and somebody walked up to you, Mr. Utah Police, State Police, or Mr. FBI agent, or Cash Patel, assuming he's on our side. If somebody walked up to you and said, hey, Google has a tool, and that tool will allow you to look at past searches that were done. And that tool will reveal that a number of surgeons' names, now we don't know that they were looking up the names of surgeons, but I will tell you that we were able to locate 7 or 8 different surgeons online, on the internet, that were pretty easily available to find, frankly, listed as performing surgeries at this particular location. I mean, job sites, Indeed, resume sites, LinkedIn, there's lots of places you can go to look and see who does surgeries. I'm not going to give you all my tools. Some of them are subscriptions, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. But there's places you can go. But if I know that, you would think someone planning a high-level assassination might know that. And if they know that, and they go and they search all these names in a couple of weeks, if you're in the Utah State Police or you're in the FBI, and you're working on this case, or you're at least even remotely or vaguely familiar with this case, it might dawn on you that this is weird. This is weird. All of these names are searched, and now the legal team is searched from the same area, or at least IP addresses suggesting they were searched from the same area about the same day. Damn, that's weird. That's weird. It's real weird. Now, I was told Catherine actually goes by Kathy. So, I looked for Kathy. Kathy Nestor. There she is. April 21. Now, I don't know what that means. Israel, April 21, Kathy Nestor. Again, if you remember, the Catherine Nestor in D.C. was May 27. The July 20. Now, I heard from someone who worked at Google, believe it or not, about this Google Trends tool. Apparently, this has become a very popular series of them. And here's what I was told. Not every search is captured in Google Trends. I will repeat that. Not every search is captured in Google Trends. But the searches that are captured happened. The searches that are captured happen. But Google Trends only takes a sampling of searches, which is why you get these large blank spaces. That was my question. Why am I getting these large blank spaces? And why for some people there's no results at all where I would think there should be? Hey, not every search is captured. But enough are that the tool is very valuable. Enough are that the tool is very valuable. So, in short, if the search shows up in the Google Trends tool, the search happened. Now, someone could have been using a VPN. Somebody could have been passing through. Somebody could have been whatever. But if, I'll use Canada because that's our nice neutral friends to the north. If somebody shows up and they're in Montreal, Quebec, and they're searching Catherine Nestor, it's going to show up as a search for Catherine Nestor, assuming it's part of the sample that gets drawn into the Google Trends tool. In other words, it's not going to say that the search took place in France. It's not the way it works. Now, if they were on a VPN that ran through France, it would show that. But the fact that the searches are being done at all in this very tight time window should throw off red flags to every law enforcement investigator in the entire country. And every law enforcement investigator in the country should use this tool. Let me show you something. Mitt Romney's sister-in-law died today. Mitt Romney's sister-in-law died today. I immediately ran to the Google tool. I looked it up the same way I've been looking up all these other things. Israel, nope. District of Columbia, only a hit today since she died today. Nothing before. Let's go to Utah. Only a hit today because she died today. See what I'm saying? I get this common refrain in the comments and on X that, oh, everybody's name is available somewhere. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. This is someone who was a sister-in-law to Mitt Romney. And she was pushed off a 5-story building. Or fell off a 5-story building, one or the other. I don't know which. She fell. I know that. But her name's not in there. It's not in Israel. It's not searched in Israel. It's not searched in D.C. It's not searched in Utah. It's not searched in the United States. It's not searched. Her name's not searched. Carrie Romney. Pretty common. I mean, not the weirdest name you've ever heard. So it's not true that every single name is searched. Now, if you take a super common name, let's just try Brad Smith, for example, and I'll plug it in and I'll come up here. Brad Smith, that's a pretty common Anglo name, right? Brad Smith, Utah, not searched in the past 90 days. What about in the District of Columbia? Maybe, I don't know. But what I'm saying is it's not every district, it's not every jurisdiction hitting everything. Yeah, Brad Smith's a pretty common name. It was clicked a couple of times. Now, this isn't anyone related to the case or anything. I'm doing this to prove a point. That some names, like in Israel, 90 days, Brad Smith, that's a pretty damn common name. If the tool is truly just every name you put in, Baron, is going to come up somewhere. No, that's not true. That's not true. If Brad Smith doesn't come up, but Catherine Nestor does, that should say something. That should say something to you. It's not every name. The searches have to be performed. For example, I'm told that in addition to Catherine Nestor, there's a very famous lawyer named Michael Burt who's being added to the team. Michael Burt, you will recall, I think, was one of the, I'm pretty confident, was one of the Menendez brothers. This is no small potatoes lawyer. This guy's for real. Been practicing law for like 40 or 50 years. So I wonder, has anyone overseas looked up this guy? They looked up Catherine Nestor. What? Yeah. This is the murder date here, September 10th. So I cut it off on the 9th. Out of the District of Columbia, September 7th. Now, again, the guy is very famous. The guy's very famous. Someone might have been searching him because they're looking up the Menendez trial. Who knows? I don't even know. I don't even know that I did this one. Was he in Israel? I doubt it. No searches in Israel that we could find. So again, it's not every name. It's not even every name associated with the case. But it was in D.C. It was in D.C. What about the other lawyer? So there's another lawyer on the case named Richard Novak. I don't know if you guys know Richard Novak. He's out of Pasadena, California, I believe. He is been doing this a lot. Maybe Novak is the one who was the, hell, I don't know. But he's on the team. So let's look and see. Was he searched in D.C. or overseas? Yeah, actually he was. Actually he was. In D.C., May 11th and June 22nd. So, mid-spring, first part of the summer. So again, not every name, but a lot of the names associated with the case. A lot of the names associated with the case, right? So that's what, that's the reason I'm doing this. I'm not defending myself because I know what I'm doing is legitimate. I'm not defending myself at all. I'm not a defensive person. What I am saying is, having talked to someone who understands the tool, who worked at the company, who understands the tool, if the search results are in there, the searches were performed. They could have been performed with a VPN, but even if they were performed with a VPN, who using a VPN was so enamored with all of these people in a very tight timeline. That person might know some things relative to who done it and why. Now, I want to change gears. Where did I say I was going next? I want to stay in order here. Yeah, okay. Here's where I'm going. I asked a question about a photographer. And do I want to bring that video? I don't know that I want to bring the video back. You know the video I'm talking about if you watched last week. And the photographer was, maybe I'll just bring it back up. The photographer was in the front row event at Orem, Utah. Here, I'll just share it and show you what it is here. It's this guy. You remember this guy? See how he's taking pictures? Here's Charlie Kirk. He's over here on the right side of the screen. Frank Turek here behind him. I think the guy we've established, the tall, dark, and handsome guy in the short sleeve black dress shirt. Guys, don't wear short sleeve black dress shirts. Let's just stop that trend. Can we please stop the trend? Can we go to people and say, hey, it's tied to a tragedy. We can't do that anymore. No more short sleeve dark dress shirts, please. Anyway, this guy in the short sleeve dark dress shirt, I think we established his name was Dan Flood. I could be wrong. But that is in the white hat right there in the white polo. That's Frank Turek. That's Charlie Kirk, obviously there. And then this guy up here on the left, I don't know if you can see my mouse over here, my cursor, but this is a guy, and I'll roll the video footage and I'll show you. It looks suspicious. It may not be, but it looks suspicious. He's focused right now, as you can tell, on these cars behind the stage, or the people behind the stage. And I'm pointing that out for two reasons. One is it's weird, particularly in light of what he's about to do. And the second reason is because those pictures don't exist. Notice he's zoomed in here. His zoom is way out. I'll even, let me do this. Let me go and make him bigger. See how zoomed in he is? Look at that. Look at that. Zoom lens way out. His hand here is on the trigger. See that right there? He's doing something back there. I don't know what they were doing behind the stage, but he was looking at it. His press pass here is white. I'll make this quick because I've already done it, and I don't want to bore the people who are return listeners. So we scroll forward just a few, and now look, the camera goes down. He's done looking behind the screen. The camera goes down. He's no longer looking behind the screen. Boom, camera down. Now we go over here. Now watch what he does. Keep your eye on Mysterious Photographer. After he's done, I'll go back to the beginning. He's looking behind the stage. Camera goes down, sees whatever he wanted to see back there, got the pictures, whatever it was. Now, for some reason, he leans in and looks under the stage. Now, maybe he's just looking for his next shot. He might just be looking for his next shot. Shot under the tent. I mean, when I say shot, I mean photography, not anything nefarious. But he looks under the tent. After he looks under the tent, I'll scroll forward just a little bit more. We lose sight of him for just a second. But after he looks under the tent, that's when Frank Turek turns to face Charlie. And my guy over here, you'll notice him. I'll zoom him in. Mysterious Photographer. I know his name now. I'll show you in just a second. But he now is standing, staring across the way. And watch what he does with his lanyard here. For some reason, he's looking across the way, and he just reaches down and flips his lanyard from white to black. Maybe it's a nervous tick. But it's weird. To me, it's weird. So he flips it from white to black. Anyway, this is the guy I was asking about. He's got a ponytail. Turns out he's Dominican. Now, right here, Charlie Kirk has 10 seconds left to live. He's looking straight ahead at us, like camera view us. And I have all the photos from him. He bathes this half of the crowd with photography. I can see the nose hair and ear hair of every person on this half of the field, on this half of the crowd. I mean, he did a great job of taking pictures. And they're phenomenal. He's a great photographer. So now he's looking. Boom. Something captures his eye over at the Sorensen building or that direction. Something captures his eye at 19 seconds on this video that I have here. 6 seconds left in Charlie Kirk's life. Something captures photographer's eye And then I'll roll the footage forward ever so slightly because I don't want to get the blood and guts and gore. And he comes back up with 2 seconds left in Charlie Kirk's life. Who we believe is Dan Flood, has not yet gone into the baseball signal mode. And if you'll notice here, my photographer, my mysterious photographer, who I now know who he is, now has his camera footage back up taking pictures of somebody. And then I'll roll forward very cautiously. You'll notice Dan Flood, who I think is Dan Flood, step forward, give the baseball signal, and then Charlie Kirk is lights out within seconds. Or within, like, a tenth of a second. So, that's all I know of this guy. I asked who he was. We have good listeners. Somebody found out. Someone found out who he was. Emailed me the information. I looked him up. The guy is, here's a story on him. Do not contact this guy. He's done nothing wrong that I know of. It looks weird. I'd love to see more of his photos. I'd love to see more of his photos. But here's who he is. His name's Charles McClintock Wilson. Dominican photographer. I think that may be right there, the press pass he flipped around. He was born in 95 in the Dominican Republic. The guy had a horrific life. The mother died when he was 3. He's in and out of poverty and trauma, relatives, strangers, exploited, mistreated. I mean, if you read this story in Voyage, Utah, it just tears your heart out. But I will say this. I'll let you draw your own conclusion. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I'll let you draw your own conclusion. But I do want to do this. Now, this is fair use. Fair use. I'm just asking you to take a quick look at some of these pictures. Because what he does in his pictures on the final day is pretty remarkable. I'll start here. He gets great quality photos of Charlie Kirk walking in back here with his security team, going through. Here's some more of his security team. I don't know who this kid is, but his face looks familiar. I don't know if I saw him on TV afterwards or if he's somebody. I don't know. His face looks familiar. But there's some great pictures here. Here's this, this old head here. I call him Santa 47. I don't know who he is either. Love to know who he is. Because he doesn't flinch at the end. He doesn't flinch. And this is just Charlie walking in with his security folks, coming up the back. For anyone who believed Charlie Kirk, now here's, oddly enough, Phil Lyman back here with him. Anyone who believed that Charlie Kirk was wearing any kind of armor or any kind of earpiece, these photos rule that out definitively. There are some of the highest quality photos in this set. It rules out all possibility of that. It rules out the possibility, I think, there was one picture that was weird, but it rules out the possibility that there's some kind of a squib under his neck and he might have faked his death. I think a lot of that is ruled out in these photos. But you'll notice Phil Lyman back here. I don't know what he's doing. He's not really talking to anybody. He's kind of just wandering around back there. But, and then he disappears. And then Charlie's back here with, I think, some volunteers probably to get some pictures. And then I'll show you, look, you can zoom in on these and get right up, like you can see his dandruff. There's no earpiece there. There's also, I think that was like mid-blink. I don't think he was on drugs. I don't think there's any allegation of that. But I mean, you can get right, look, you can get right in here. This is for scientific purposes here. We're looking because there's an allegation he was wearing an earpiece. No earpiece. No earpiece in these ears. You can, like I said, it's such high quality. What a quality photographer. You can actually see his dandruff. There are places you can see is like he missed when he was trimming. There's some eyebrow hairs here he missed. You get to see, there was a lot of speculation about the microphone casing. You can see that very clearly. You can see his chain here under his shirt. These are some of the best pictures there were the entire event, I think. This mysterious Dominican photographer, McClintock Wilson. Now, the reason I want to draw your attention to these, hold on. There was a guy in the crowd who I deemed strange. Golly, there. He also gets a very close-up of the two cameras, of the camera in the pack behind him. These are great pictures. I mean, if you love Charlie, you will want to look at these pictures because they are literally his final moments on Earth. This is the picture I was talking about where there was a little weird something going on here under his neck. But I think that's just a weird tick he has. Like, I don't think that's a squid, right? I think you can see he's doing something weird with his mouth. Looks like he maybe been eating strawberries or something on his final snacks on the way to the place. Got some what looks like strawberry seeds there. But you can see these photos are just phenomenal if you want to look around the crowd. And there are actually better photos of the crowd than this sequence I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this one trying to find something specific. Where did it go? Oh, well, I think it's on a different... I think it's on a different, I think it's on this one. Oh yeah, check these out, right? If you're looking, and I heard Candace was, if you're looking at the Charlie Kirk from his 12 o'clock to his 9 o'clock, and you're looking for photos of the audience, guys, these are so high quality, you can see their zits. Every single person in that crowd. Someone needs to get this deck to her. Because I watched her show. She was looking for these pictures. You can see everybody. And it's real. I mean, look at this. Every single person on that side. Now, one thing I noticed was, and I'll stop doing this because I don't want to, I mean, the guy's an incredibly talented photographer. May have had nothing to do with it. I would love to talk to him and say, what the hell were you looking at? What did you look at behind the tent? Where are those pictures? Can I look at them? They're very relevant. Yeah, it's a great find. A great find. What were you looking at behind the screen back there? What were you looking at behind Charlie's tent? Because you were in tent back there. I mean, we're talking the final 20 seconds he's alive. And there are a lot of suspicions that something may have happened behind that tent. People walking back and forth. People want to know more about. Maybe a trunk open. Did a trunk open? Did you see a trunk open? I would love to ask him this question. I may reach out to him. I got a job though. I can't do all this. Okay. Now, where were we going? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the suspicious person. Someone in the comments reminded me. I was looking for someone suspicious. Let me go back to the scene here and try to find the actual suspicious photo I was looking for. There's a guy standing in a stairwell. And as soon as I saw him, I thought, this guy's out of place. How about this? Hold on. This is a great pic. Everybody's talking about the shot came from over here. Everybody talking about, oh, the shot came. Look how clear that shot is. Look at this. You want to know if one of these people shot him? Look for yourselves. This is a great pic. I mean, just bathes the area. It's got perfect light. He does a good job. He does a good job. Let me go back to find my, I don't want to say suspicious guy, but the guy that caught my eyes, I looked at it, I thought, not too sure where was he? And if I can't find it, maybe I'll cover it in the next show. I'm not going to spend a ton of time. Ah, here he is. Now, you'll remember, and I'm not casting aspersions on anybody. I'm just raising possibilities of leads. And if these people turn out to be innocent, there's nothing to it. If it turns out that it turns out that cameraman is just a really talented photographer who happened to be in here, great. Great, good for him. Who's this guy? See that guy right there in the maroon shirt and the white 47 hat? Now, the reason I raised the issue is I don't see a lot of people in white 47 hats that aren't on the team. I don't see a lot, and maybe there are, but as I look through the crowd, the vast majority of white 47 hat people are like right there. They're with the team. Who is this guy? And the reason I ask is shortly before the fatal shot, you'll remember Dan Flood gives or I think is Dan Flood. It might be giving him the wrong name, but we'll call him baseball signal guy. Baseball signal guy steps up and he touches his arm and then bang, you hear the crack. May not be related to it, but it was coincidentally timed if it was unrelated. Right before that, this guy the baseball signal guy, he looks to his right. He looks down like in a moment of reflection. Then he looks to his left as if to say, am I doing this? So there was somebody off to the left that he was looking at. And I'm not saying it's this guy. But this guy is literally standing in the bushes, looking at his phone. Everybody else is watching the event. This guy's looking down at his phone. I don't know who he is. I know, yeah, I saw that. I mean, he threw out some 47 hats. This guy's standing way away from the stage. Adam's in here. Who's Adam? I don't know that. But anyway, so that's why I bring up that. And let me tell you, the McClintock guy, great photographer. I'll reach out to him. Okay. What was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh, the comments from the last show. I got, someone sent me a screen cap of these comments here. And this was the guy who filmed the Life is Driving video. I give the same disclaimer for this that I give to every video. I don't know what the guy's doing. He might be a lousy live streamer and a lousy photographer. Like, instead of putting the subjects in the middle, see how my head is in the middle of the screen here? Like, if I did the show from way down here, you guys would think I was nuts. Like, if I did the show and the whole show was done from down here, and I was looking, and I was talking to you, and then I was sharing screen shares, and you guys would think I'm nuts. Hey, I heard he's here. I'll give you a link. You want to come on? Comment in the link, and I will send you a link to the show. I'll be happy to have you on. Yeah, I'm reading that. I hear he's in the chat. I will bring you on right now. We can talk about it. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not going to sit here and sabotage you. I want to know the answer to these questions. But here's the first comment he made. I was there for the counter-protesters. Okay, well, you didn't start out near the counter-protesters. You started out on the other side, and then you walked around and got a nice clean angle look of the Losi Center for some reason, and then you kept pausing at various points to look at the stage, and then you talked to exactly one group of protesters. So if that's true, maybe you're new at this. I don't know. Now here's the different thing. I'm a different kind of streamer. Dude, you are pausing my video while I'm in the middle of walking around King Crow. Hey, yes, I am. I'm pausing it in the middle. Because you stopped and you took pictures, video footage for like minutes at a time of the corner of the building where the alleged shooter jumped down a day before anyone knew that happened. Like a day before anyone knew that happened. You were there live streaming the scene of the crime. No one knew there was a shooter jumping off that corner of the building. That video wasn't out yet. And so, yeah, I am going to draw attention to suspicious things. Now, it's possible suspicious things don't turn out to be suspicious. Maybe you got a thorn in your leg or something. You had to stop and you just happened to be there. I'm telling you, dude. You walked the shooter's walk out of there. It's almost like, did he drop anything? Did he leave any footprint? I mean, it was like the same path he followed. Yeah, but okay, I see him now. You're welcome to come on the show. I will be happy to send you a link. I will be happy to send you a link, and I will invite you on the show. You weren't focused on the cops on the rooftop. You were focused on the corner of the... Do you need me to open your video? We went through this last show. I don't want to bore them. We've got a budding audience here. We're building an audience. I do not want to pull them into a Oh, what's the website for the photos? Oh, I should post that, shouldn't I? Let me get off of this guy's comments. He's not very good. Let me find the McClintock comment, and I'll post it in the comments right here. I wasn't able to post in the comments last time because I had some setting off, because I'm like not a professional with this. But I can get it. Let me open up my history here. Then I will find... Maybe I won't. Oh, search history. McClintock. Was that his name? McClintock. There it is. Here is the link. Now this opens to one of his sequences. I'm posting it in the comments for anyone who's wanting to look at it right now. Now, it's going to open to a particular sequence. Yeah, hey, get in there and take copies. That's fine. But there's a sequence before. On the left here, I'll just show you the screen. What it's going to show to when you open up. So you're going to open up to this screen for those of you looking at these pictures. Very high quality pictures. You're going to open to this screen here, the final sequence. And if you scroll to the left here, there's some other stuff he's done. And again, all very good. He's very talented. But if you click that one, you get even more pictures from the rally. This is the one where you get the crowd that Candace was looking for. So if somebody wants to give these to Candace, that'd be great. Because I do think these would benefit her search. She was looking for, I think, photo or video of that side of the crowd. But that's it. But Adam, where is he? Did he say he would come on? I'll tell you what. Send me an email, Adam, right now. Baron@BaronColeman.com. I'll pull up my email on the side. And if you are ready, I will bring you on, and we will go through your video. And you can talk to me about where you were. Because you made another comment that you were in line with the Losi Center. No, sir. No, sir. I can prove that right now to everybody. You were not in line with the Losi Center. Unless, and maybe this would be a good idea for you to come on, maybe you can convince me you were in fact in line with the Losi Center. But this is a two-dimensional thing. This right here is the shooter's nest. I will draw a line. This is the shooter's nest. And this right here is where it looked to me like you were on the scene. And I'll zoom in. It looked like you were in front of this planter right here. Because when the shot went off, you had to walk over to this planter, and then you looked down, and I could see you were not yet to the sidewalk. So you walked at least one full planter. I'll go back and show the video, but the people at home know I'm right about this. Now, if you look at that from there, where you were, to the Losi Center nest, look, it goes through the wrong tree. It goes through a tree, but it doesn't go through the tree I was looking at. I was looking at this tree right here. You'll notice the yellow line goes beside that tree. So you were not in line with the Losi Center, not the shooter's nest. You might have been in line with the Losi Center way out over here, but I'm told, and the news tells us, the Losi Center shooter's nest was right there, and that's not in line with the tree where the flash came from. So if that's the plan, is to blame it on that, let me show you where that tree lines up to. If I run through that tree to this building, it runs right there, right where I said it did last time. Now you can come on. I'll give you a link, and you can come on here and join me. I'll be happy to have you on. I'm not an adversarial person, but I do not believe that's where you were. I think you were here, and I have secondary video to footage to prove it. Somebody else came out with that secondary footage, and I could see you in the background interviewing those 4 people, and it looks really like you were next to this planter, actually off a little bit more from this planter and behind here. But if you go through that second tree, this building is in the way of the Losi Center. Second detainee? What detainee are you talking about? Yep, okay. Now, let me look and see if he's emailed. Because I will send you a link, Adam, and we can talk. And if you don't want to do it tonight because you're not prepared, that's fine. If you don't want to do it tonight, Adam, you, Phil, get together. I'll have you both on. And again, it'll be cordial. I'm not a jerk. I'm a professional. Where's the video? Which video are you talking about? No, that cannot be true. Although someone just sent me a message in response to something somebody said in the comment. And that cannot be true. That would have to be a follow-up show tomorrow if that's true. That is not something that can wait until I'm done and can have fired up a microphone. I probably won't be back in time Sunday to do a show. Probably not. I do not see where Adam has sent me an email requesting a link. But Baron at BaronColeman.com. Adam, please. I would love to have you on and go through your video scene by scene. And maybe you can convince me that I'm seeing it all wrong. I am willing to change my mind. I've changed my mind on a lot of things. Okay, that's interesting. Just got a tip. Hey, you know what I've noticed? Doing these videos are a lot easier when you do these videos. Doing these videos are a lot easier. Hey, my hat's off to her. I saw someone in the comments said one time I didn't trust her or believe her. That's not true at all. I think I can trace that to something I said. I went back and watched the video and thought, why did someone say that? I made a comment one time that if someone said you need to send these to Kansas, and I said, well, that's sure enough way to guarantee that it'll be taken down off Google Trends. I wasn't saying she would turn it on, but saying her communication is probably being monitored very closely, I would guess. I don't have any problem in the world with it. You email me. Oh, good. I'm going to send you a link. We're about to do it. Damn, I was going to get off early tonight, too, Adam. I don't see an email. Oh, there we go. Link. Let me send you the StreamYard link, and we can party. Unfortunately, my email is, I have to bring it up on my computer here. If you're looking into my screen behind me, don't look at my email, please. All right, life is driving. Let's do it. And again, I'm not a jerk. I'm going to be polite to you, and we're going to chat, and we're going to have a good time. And I'll pull up your video, and you can talk me through what you're thinking. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. Trying to get me killed? You don't need equipment. A phone is fine, Adam. You don't need equipment. You can call in. You can use your iPhone. You can set up a computer. I don't care. I'll stay here. Is this true? Is this true? Has anyone? Let me see here. That cannot be possible. While we wait for Adam, I'm reading a text that says it has been definitive. This cannot be. I'm not going forward with it because I'm looking through the comments here, and people are saying it's not true. It involves the paving over of the river. If I need a moderator on live shows to make sure Google doesn't take my stream down. Oh, I'm getting an offer. All right, Adam, where are you, brother? Oh, this is interesting. I looked up Catherine M. Nestor, and it still popped up in Israel using her middle initial. Well, that's even more interesting. I think a lot of you run VPNs. Someone just asked, someone asking about a VPN. I think a lot of people run VPNs. I run a VPN. But I don't run it out of Israel. I mean, shouldn't you run a VPN pretty close to where you are so it's so you don't lose speed? Maybe I don't know how the internet works. Oh. There was a detainee arrested after Zen who was impersonating a doctor. Yeah, that was weird. Let me go through some of these comments while we wait on Life is Driving. The chain was still dangling from Charlie's. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I already sent that in the comments. It's right here. Look for my logo there. You'll find it. How do you like that logo? Sharp. Where are you, brother? Was he on another podcast? $8:44. You said you're setting up your equipment. It's 8:57. Are you buying equipment? Hey, Adam, can you get Phil? I want to talk to him. Oh, I didn't even see this. I might not be nice to you after all. You got a job. Well, maybe my job's harder than yours. I don't know that she would recognize my name in the emails. I don't know that she knows me from Adam's House Cat. That was kind of my thought, was that the ponytail guy she was looking for might be the photographer we just identified. So we might have killed two birds with one stone. Put her in touch with pictures of that side of the crowd, as well as identify the ponytail guy. Yeah, I mean, if I was a professional journalist, if that's all I did all day was sit around and do research and write and podcast, I mean, I would call all these people. I would have found a number for Life is Driving. I would have found a number for a different number for Phil Lyman. I would call the Dominican photographer. I would track down some of these. My job is to bring leads to the surface. And not all leads lead to Rome. Not every lead leads to, oh, that guy did it. Life is Driving. Where are you? Are you not getting in? Are you in the comments saying you can't get in or something? What equipment are you setting up? Yeah, it's just brainstorming. I do sometimes wonder why they would pick Israel. Hey, but let me raise this, because people make a lot of this, and frankly I do too. So many of these searches were done with IP addresses originating in Israel. If they were all done by VPNs, were they the same person doing all the searches? If so, we might have a guilty party looking these things up. Were they done by someone in Israel? If so, we might have a guilty party, or at least somebody tied to worth investigating. Or were they done by like 50 people who all had VPN set to Israel? Or 50 people in Israel? Either way, again, these are leads being bubbled to the surface. The Utah State Police, the FBI need to find out who was making these searches. I think I have presented enough evidence that these searches were done, that these searches need to be investigated. I don't have a tailor. I buy Adidas hoodies. Someone just texted me asking who my tailor is. What? Videos are all over X. You say that, but X is a big place. It's like finding out somebody's from California and saying, "Oh, do you know my buddy Steve Jones?" Yeah. Oh, there he is. Man, you've got a setup. What is that?
Well, it's called a microphone.
I know. Is that Electra voice already playing?
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hang on one second here.
Is that an RE20 you got there on the mic?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's a solid mic, dude.
I got it used on eBay.
What processor are you running out of it?
Huh?
What processor are you running on that?
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking
You
about.
bought it used on eBay. I forgot.
Good microphone.
What is your shirt? What does your shirt say?
It's the Steven Crowder. Socialism is for pigs. He's holding a fig leaf there. He's got a fig.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So
When you're sitting, it just looks like you're promoting Shake with
my wife said we're wearing red today for Charlie Kirk's birthday. So
Yeah, I heard it was his birthday. That's sad. He died a month before his birthday. I mean, I guess anytime he dies, it's sad. But
yeah.
okay, so talk me through this. I don't have all night. It's already 9. I want to be done within an hour.
So hey, to your comment on my comment just a minute ago, where you said you might not be nice because I said that the cop out, it was a cop out.
I got a good job, dude.
Hey, I get it. So I have a job too, but don't you think it's a little bit irresponsible to go to do an hour's, or plus live stream on pausing a few minutes of a guy's footage and saying that he, that he's getting commands in his ear.
No, I reject the premise.
Dude,
I never said I know that.
All kinds of you made all kinds of assertions in that video.
I didn't. I made no assertions. I said it's as if somebody is in his ear saying this.
You also said I know several times. It's all on the video. I'll break it down for you at a later date.
I'm happy to watch whatever you break down. Look. I will give a disclaimer. Everything I said is an opinion based on the way the video is portrayed.
But the guy making these claims, the guy doing this journalistic, investigative, by your own words, investigative journalism piece online, it's up to you to do the due diligence, and the bare minimum would be to reach out to the person that you're spending an hour smearing. That would be the bare minimum. And I'm online. You could DM me on Twitter. I know you're on there. So you could easily...
I don't have a real Twitter account. I have a troll.
It doesn't matter what you have. You easily could have reached out. There are 112 news agencies reached out asking for my footage. Candace Owens didn't, and you didn't. That says more about your journalism than anything, in my opinion. So go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Duly noted, I'm a crappy journalist. That's fine. I'm willing
to accept that. That's what that comment was about. Just to be fair, I just want you to know that's what I was talking about.
Okay. Can we dial it back for you're like 8.5? Can we go to like maybe 6? So you want to stay at 8.5?
Usually, I'm happy to go down to a 6.
Okay, come on down.
I thought I was coming in at a 4. That's what I thought I was coming in at.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's your 4, then
can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, you sound like $1 million to me. I don't know. Are people?
Perfect.
Are people? I've got nobody in the comments saying
that is what the Mossad handlers paid me, so I should sound at least $1 million.
Well, can you at least split it with me? I brought a lot of new eyeballs to your show. Hey, so here's my question. You were live streaming.
Let me start out. Let me just start out. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks for having me on to at least come and explain. I don't want to say I'm not. The thing that pisses me off is that when by doing what you did, it opens me up to a bunch of anonymous people to come into my DMs, into my comments, tagging me, all this stuff. going through and making, how much did they pay you to do what you did? You've got blood on your hands, all this stuff, and it comes and they cite your stuff. So that's why, I came in like that. So,
I take no responsibility for what people do with the information.
I understand that, but you with your platform, you have, and especially going viral and getting all these people, you have power that comes with that platform. And as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So,
well, I reject it.
So anyway, go ahead.
So here's my question. I reject it. I reject all of it based on the premise that I made any claims. I just raised speculation as if,
okay, fair enough.
If you were working for somebody who was there to conduct a hit, that would have been great, man. I mean, you were all over the place, exactly the right spot.
That's why I would highly disagree. If I was, if somebody's going to be in there putting together a hit, they're going to have earpieces. They're not going to have to rely on the crappy cell phone connection of a random live streamer. They're going to have dedicated, earpieces. They're going to be able to coordinate and do all that stuff. They're not going to need this elaborate, ridiculous spotting setup. That's the whole premise is ridiculous.
Okay. You must be a better assassin than I am, because I was not aware of how the pros do it. But I'm just
a guy that has watched a few movies in my life. So
yeah, maybe that's problem. So walk me. I want to get to my questions here, because these are the things I would have asked you, and now have that opportunity live.
If you had reached out in advance, so I could respond.
Well, we're talking now. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 days.
All right.
When you went live, you claim at about the 11-minute mark you're live streaming and you're recording to an SD card. When you were live, what channel were you live on? Were you live on Live is Driving on YouTube, or were you on X? What channel were you live on?
I was live on X. I was live on Life is Driving YouTube. I was live on Main Street Media X, and I might have been live. I'm not 100% at the Facebook. I don't think the Facebook one worked that day. So I was definitely live to those 3 locations.
And do you have any idea how many people were watching that live? Do you have analytics that can support how many people were tuned in as you were live on the various platforms?
I've never gone into the YouTube analytics tab, but I'm sure they have something there. I wouldn't have access to the Main Street Media one or the. I'm not sure if there's an analytics tab like that on Twitter, but maybe Restream, which is what I was using. But as far as me, I couldn't see while I was viewing it because the tablet I was using was running my Mevo multicam software, and so which was broadcasting to Restream, so I couldn't see like who was watching because I couldn't see the Restream.
Now, have you heard allegations that other people in the area were unable to stream live, or that they were having difficulty streaming live?
So that's another point that came up in your video, was that that I was somehow the only person allowed to stream live.
Well, I raised the question because I've heard people say that, and I don't know the answer.
My stream wasn't allowed to stream, so I don't know.
Well, you went down after the shot, right?
Yes.
Okay, but during the shot, up to and including the shot itself, you were live.
I was live. Yeah, it cut out at a couple points during the shot. So.
What do you mean during the shot? As the shot?
Like as the shot happened, the live stream glitched out, and someone else, another YouTuber had posted another video of somebody else's, glitching out as well. So
I saw that one. I didn't know yours. So when did yours glitch?
And I know that mine's an amateur setup. There's a dedicated cell service setup you can get with a mobile live streaming kit that costs thousands of dollars that I frankly can't afford. So. My setup is with my cell phone, my iPad, which is an internet-connected iPad, and then a Verizon hotspot. So I have 2 AT&T and a Verizon, all bonded together through the iPad. So that could be one reason I was able to at least stream for 27 minutes, was because I had 3 cell connections, 1 Verizon, 2 AT&T, going through the software on the iPad to give me a better stream signal. Because the last time that I streamed in a big crowd like this, the stream was going down all the time because I wasn't using that setup. So I've been trying to adapt my equipment to get better at at being in a giant crowd of thousands of people.
So to clarify, did your stream interrupt prior to 1907 in your footage? Because your video picks up and Charlie's shot at 1907.
I haven't watched it that closely to find out. I have.
You haven't watched the video footage of the most infamous shot?
I've reviewed it with people, but I haven't gone through it like minute by minute to see if it glitched out at any given point. I just know that because other people have told me that it glitched. Why did it glitch out at the time of the shot? And when the shot fires, it glitches out. So you don't on the live footage, you don't actually hear the shot fire. Like it's blank. That's hot.
So you uploaded the SD footage to X. Is that what
the raw file that you were going through was the hour and 9 minute. My live footage went down at 27 minutes. So the hour and 9 minute footage was recorded to the iPad.
So at 27 minutes, that would have been 8 minutes after the shot. So you were able to record, assuming they started at the same point, you were able to record past the 1907 mark where the shot rang out, and then on to another 8 minutes after that before it glitched.
To stream, I was streaming for another 8 minutes, and then the stream went down permanently, so it was over at that point. And I think there was just too many people on the cell networks to make
Well, I'm sure at that point,
because there was at least 20 people around me calling 911. So
yeah. So I wanna draw your attention to a couple of things in here. You'll notice on the screen. Can you see the screen just fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to the 1905 mark. You are interviewing these guys. This is 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, maybe before the shot runs out. Do you know on Google Maps where you were standing? In other words,
what I was telling you was that if it weren't, in my opinion, I mean, maybe I could be wrong about this, but I believe if it weren't for that tree right there, the Losi Center sniper nest area would rise slightly above in the perspective because that was a taller building. So I think that it would. The corner of that building, because this one's angled, this is like a giant triangle, the building that you can see right here.
Yeah.
And so I think the Losi Center rises right above it, and that's why, if that is the muzzle flash that you found, or whoever found that it would be because the Losi Center is actually visible without that tree there. So
I'm going to challenge that because I don't believe that's accurate. I mean, reasonable minds can disagree. But here's why I'm going to say that. There are two trees here. This is the guy we call him Earring here. To Earring's right shoulder, where this pink girl is right here, this is tree 1. It's a shorter tree. And then over here we have tree 2. This is a taller tree. And this is over Earring's left shoulder. So I want to roll the footage. I'm not sure if you guys have audio, but I'll roll the footage. We're about 5 seconds away from this gunshot. You'll see Earring react right here. Boom. All right, so there's the gunshot. And I will submit to you, apparently it doesn't come across YouTube, so I'm not going to go back over and over and over. But you can see what appears to me to be a muzzle flash right here. Might be, might not be. Again, reasonable minds can disagree. But what they can't disagree with is where you're situated. Because I'm going to roll the footage. You start declaring there's been a gunshot. People duck and they run. And now I want to show which direction you move and where you end up. Because that's going to help me. See that flower putter right there? You end up to the left of that.
Yeah.
And then you look
back a little bit right here.
Yeah, well, hang on just a second, because I want to get to here. You're going to look over in just a second, and when you look over, you can get an idea of where you are, and then I'll show you on Google Maps where that is and why it does not line up to the Losi Center. I think it's an important point. It's a minor point. We might be boring the audience to tears, but it's an important point because here you've already moved towards the Charlie Kirk tent at this point. And this is a good view of the two trees I was talking about. The muzzle flash came in this larger tree. And this smaller tree is, for whatever reason, just there. But you'll look down in just a second, and you'll get an idea. Here's your look down. Now, see how far to the left of this concrete edge you are?
I mean, I know I'm not in line with the trajectory of the proposed shooting location, but I think that the Losi Center rises above that building, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, well, let me show that that's not what happens.
But to me, I mean, that's an irrelevant point. I mean, you spend an hour going through 3 minutes of footage where I walk from one balcony to the next, pausing it while I'm literally carrying a tripod.
It was an important shot. It was important
because you got to realize though, I've got a tripod that's taller. That's when it's sitting on the ground, it's as tall as I am. Okay. I'm trying to move through a sea of people. I'm carrying it above my head. I'm carrying two tripods, one with the iPad on it and one with the camera. I cannot see what the camera's pointed at while I'm moving, and you're pausing it while I'm moving around. Until I plunk that camera down, I don't see what it's pointed at. So you're accusing me of filming the rooftops before the shooting, when I'm just moving around, you literally made an hour of content pausing the few minutes that I'm walking between locations.
Because it was shocking. It was shocking.
And then post the shooting, all I did was I used my brain. That everybody there was going, pointing, doing these things. We all heard the general direction that it came from. I watched with my eyes. After I went down and waited by Charlie's tent to meet up with my son. As soon as he found me and we were together, we then got ushered outside by the cops, and I just thought, and actually when I met up with my son, I almost, because the stream had gone down, I almost ended it like 3 times. I was going to end this, but I just thought to myself, this could be important later. So I kept recording, and I just walked around, and I thought, where are the cops? I'm going to record where the cops are at. So I went and I tried to walk between the Losi Center and the amphitheater. We got yelled at by the cops on the roof of the Losi Center.
Can we pause the narrative because we're way ahead?
What I'm saying is that all the times that I'm filming the rooftops, it's either inadvertent in the beginning or afterwards. It's because the cops are there. Like you were focused. I wasn't focused on anything. I didn't focus. The lens was totally zoomed out. And
depending on how long you have. But depending on how long you have to go through that. But I do want to draw your attention to this very important because I disagree with what you said in the comments. This is the planter where you ended up next to, right here.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Because it was on this side of the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
This is the tree where it looks like the muzzle flash was. And you'll notice if you run from that planter through that tree, this is the building that's in the way.
Correct, and the Losi Center is taller than that building, I believe.
But you'll notice if you go that way, if you maintain a straight trajectory, it doesn't go to the shooter's nest. The shooter's nest is over here. And you'll notice as I zoom in, it's a hard left turn.
So I'm not, I have no idea. As far as
let me show you. Let me show you.
All I'm saying is that I was there.
Yeah.
In that position, and I think that you could potentially see it from that spot. I think the Losi Center's taller, so it could be.
Yeah, but here's the problem. From that spot,
look at that line. That's a perfect line.
But it doesn't run through the right tree. It doesn't run through the correct tree. Is my point.
Oh, I have no idea. But I have no idea. But the reality is that that's a possibility because the Losi Center is taller. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know. I'm not saying that the shot came from one building or the other. I'm just saying that it's very plausible that if that is muzzle flash that you're seeing, that it could be actually from where the FBI says it's coming from. So, to me, it's the simplest answer is the most logical until there's some better theory, and so far as I've seen, I mean, every theory that I've come across has not convinced me as a guy that was there with all these other people, and I believe I kind of had an idea of where the shot came from, and to me it was not from that closer rooftop. It just wasn't.
Well, tell me now. Talk me through. This is my first opportunity to talk to someone who actually was there, and this is not me asking from an adverse perspective or try to catch you in something. This is just me asking. When you heard the gunshot, are you familiar with guns? You grew up hunting, shooting rifles, shooting pistols.
I have. I killed my own elk for the first time 2 years ago with my brother.
What'd you use?
And I just used my brother's 30. I think it's a 30-06. It's just an old hunting rod.
Convenient.
So, yeah. So I'm gonna find out. I will ask him, but I really don't know. So it could be anything. But it was an old hunting bolt-action hunting rifle. It was my brother's son's rifle that I used, and I specifically went out for a year hunting with my brother, and learning what he did essentially.
Okay, so you shot gun. Yeah,
and you get an idea when you're in these slot canyons. You hear gunfire come from one canyon. You kind of know where it is, even though the sound reverberates in one canyon from another canyon, and it's it can be difficult when you first get there. But after a while, you kind of get this sense of where things are coming from, and that's what I'm going off of. Is my own perception that. Based off my own experience, that's all I can go off of. It's based off my own experience.
I want to drill into a different. I mean, I appreciate you going in that direction, but I want to drill in a specific other direction. When you heard the gunshot and you shot a 30-06, you know what that feels like. You know what it sounds like. You know the depth to that sound. Anyone who shot a 30-06 knows there's a signature to that that's not available to a 5.56 round or a 223 round or a pistol round. Did it sound like a 30-06 round to you, even from 100 yards away or 150 yards away?
At the time of the shot, my first, I was literally hoping that it was firecrackers. The first thing out of my mouth was that a firecracker? You know, because the sound of it had kind of reverberated in that trapezoidal building setup with all the buildings around the courtyard. And so it had this kind of weird effect.
By the time it hit you first,
that was
your
just my own.
Your video doesn't suggest it did.
In the video, you'll hear me say, "Was that firecracker?"
Yeah.
So
because it didn't sound like a 30-06, did
because
it?
it kind of made this reverberating sound that to me gave it like a firecracker effect.
Because it
So,
didn't
if that
sound
makes
like a
sense.
30-06.
That's just my first, thing was to say, I'm hoping that it's a firecracker.
But you can hear the crack and the thump in your video if you slow it down.
Yeah, and I've had some.
And by hearing that,
some ballistics guy got in contact with me and said that, and asked me what microphone I was using. This pretty decent. I mean, it cost a couple $100. Comica shotgun microphone. And he said that my audio did match. He said, in his opinion, it matched up with being the 30-06. So, that's, who knows. I have no idea. I'm not a ballistics or gunshot expert, but to me, it definitely sounded like. Especially when I watch the video, it sounds to me like it could be a 30-06.
So you've shot a 30-06. Have you shot a 5.56 or a 223?
I have a 5.56.
And so you know the difference in sound.
Yeah.
You know the difference in the depth of the sound.
I fired the two on the same days multiple times. I kind of have an idea, but to me, it sounded like definitely could have been a 30-06 when it went off. So
it was a deeper, louder, more substantial sound, you think, than a 5.56 would have been from a similar.
Especially listening to the. I should do a comparison actually, because I have some footage of me firing the 5.56 that we built. So that might be a good thing to do in the future. But in my opinion, my amateur videographer, unprofessional opinion, it could definitely sounds like it could have been a 30-06. So.
But. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to run down that road. You ready to say?
Yeah.
I want to play a portion of your video here. So this is 52 minus 19. What are we looking at here? 33 minutes after shot. So this is 33 minutes after your shot. After the what you think could be a 30-06. Earlier in the video, you see where they're trying to sort of evacuate the campus, get people away. And you're walking. Do you recognize this building or this portion of the video? Do you know where you were walking?
Excuse me.
Because you're walking here. Do you recognize this at all?
Yeah, I think we were in. Let's see here.
Do you know, in other words, why are you walking?
Yes, I do know. So, if you go back about 2 minutes, about a minute. Maybe go back 2 minutes.
There's a minute back. You want to go back farther?
Go back farther.
There's a minute and a half before
right
that.
Here. Okay, so right here we are on the other side. We are between the Losi Center, and right up on the left would be.
That's the Losi Center here on the left, right?
Correct. Yeah. So these cops up here yell at me and they say, "Go, get out of here! You have to go the other way."
These cops on the roof right here.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're trying to get through right now. We're trying to go from. Where we had been ushered out of the courtyard on the wrong side, and my wife was on the other side. So we were trying to go through right here, this alleyway that goes between the Losi Center and the courtyard to get to the front of UVU. That's what we're trying to do.
And it's just you and your wife here at this point together?
No, me and my kid are together right here.
Okay.
My wife had been she had evacuated out of a different building or a different door. So
is that your son? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay. So. And
so you're walking.
We turned around because we got yelled at and told that we can't. And that's why this guy in front of me. These people that I was passing on my way down this walkway. They were fast food workers. They were coming out of the what do you call it? The food court.
And you're going to the Losi Center. Why? Has news broken by this point that they believe the shot came from the Losi Center?
If you go back, you'll see all the cops on the roof. That's why I'm pointing at. That's why I'm headed there. So
yeah, but if I go back further, you're nowhere.
Well, right there, we're specifically trying to get through to the front where my wife is. Okay, so I'm familiar with as far as like where the campus goes. I just knew we had to get through that area. We had to go to get to the other side. So Then
So this is
we get yelled
okay.
at,
So this is
the
actually
cops yell at
famous
us.
for the.
Yeah. So then the cops yell at us and say, "You can't go that way." And I can see all the cops on the roof, and I had already previously surmised that the shot probably came from that roof. And so at that point, I'm just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna film the cops that just yelled at me. And
How
so
did
that
you
was
surmise the shot came from that roof?
just because of like I said, back when we were down there, and if you go back to like right after the shot happens, I go down the stairs. Right after I call my wife and kid, I go down the stairs, and as I'm going down the stairs, there's multiple people pointing up in the direction where where everybody heard the shot come from, which was. So that's like multiple people were pointing at the Losi Center, and so we just kind of gravitated towards that because the cops had also rushed there. Like in the few minutes when the shot first happens, the cops aren't there. There's only a few campus cops and stuff. When the cops show up, they all go to two places. They go to clear the courtyard of all people, and they swarm the Losi Center. That's what the cops did, and so that's why I went to that spot because the cops were. They kicked us out of the first spot where the cops were at, and that was the second spot.
So this is 10 seconds or so after the shot, right? You were interviewing these guys, and there's a shot.
Yeah.
So at this point, you don't know the shot came from the Losi Center.
And and previously in your last video too, you're like, oh, this guy's a conservative. Why isn't he down there listening to Charlie Kirk? I've been to a lot of events like this, and
I'm gonna get to the furry stuff. I've got your furry. We'll get there.
These guys. I'm not there to record Charlie Kirk. He's got dozens of cameras around, and their own official cameras. Every time that there's these protests, you have these weirdos, these guys that show up with their funny little opinions, and that's why I go to video. Was those guys, and the reason I started out on the other side was because I walked in and I didn't realize where the guys were at first of all, and so I went to one side and on that opposing balcony that you can see where I started out on the other side. I get over there. There's so many people there when I got to that spot that I could not get within 20 feet of the balcony. So if you go back before the shot, that balcony is totally full, okay? And I couldn't get within 20 feet of the railing, and so that's why I'm at one spot, the tripod's on the ground, you see the back of the guy's neck, okay? You're highly critical of that shot.
Yeah, that was a weird shot.
And then I'm holding the tripod, and so I can't see the iPad at that point because I'm holding the tripod up, and I'm trying to just angle the camera down because I wanted to see the size of the crowd, give people an idea, which is kind of like how many people are at this event. And then I work my way around back to where the protesters are at for the purpose that I'm there.
All right, let me get through my questions here. I don't want to treat this like a deposition where I'm like, hey, you got to answer my question because you're here on your own free will.
There's an hour's worth of
Well, but let me go through
hours worth of the prosecution's case presented on the last.
Oh, I'd have been much harsher. If I was a prosecutor, I'd have been much harsher.
I mean, so it's kind of hard not to treat it like a deposition after the.
Yeah, well. All right, so right here, the shot went off.
Arrested last time.
At this point, so the shot went off 10 seconds ago, or 20 seconds ago. At this point, do you have any idea where the shot might have come from? You just heard a shot. Or do you think, hey, it's the Losi Center,
well,
right?
Go back a little bit. You can see, you can see people's reaction in a wave. Like, the people reacted in a wave after the shot.
Well, let's just let it roll.
The wave comes
from
from the direction.
All right, so there's the shot, and people are running.
You can see that wave just of everybody falling down. Like,
well, I see people running backwards, like towards where the Losi Center.
So now go forward, and I'll go down the stairs, and you'll see people pointing, saying that they came from wherever. So, and I've seen other people making, oh, look, you're watching a 2D, video, like, oh, they're pointing up to this other building that I say it could have come from, so everybody's got their own opinion, but everybody, the people after this are pointing towards towards where we're,
where are they?
Everybody,
where are people pointing? I don't
go down, keep moving down. We'll go down the stairs from this point. So go forward.
Hold on, I want to look at that because my contention is I see the Losi Center back here now that you've moved over, but I don't think that's where the muzzle flash came from. Okay, so now you're walking back into the building. I want to get back to here. So now you come downstairs.
You need
and
some
you're
truther to go down and cut that tree down for us.
Well, no, I mean I just proved it on
settle this right here. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
So now you're downstairs. You're walking towards the courtyard.
So you got to go backwards if you want to see the people pointing.
See pointing.
You got to. Let it play through right before I go down the stairs.
I guess it's not quite so boring.
You might have to Oh, you could have got a flash of mine. There's been a shooting, the Charlie Kirk event, the TPUSA event. There has been a shooting. Everybody's evacuating.
There's no way that tree's in line with the Lucy Center.
I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks.
You would have to be on the. See where that guy's ducking way over here? You'd have to be all the way over here to be in line with the Lucy Center in that tree. But we've already said it. How long till you go down? I don't want to fall asleep watching this.
Oh my goodness. We're going to go down there and see if we can get
I just don't see anyone pointing.
any more info. Yeah, it's right down there. It's right down here. My son just said Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. I don't know the accuracy of that. People are like, why? How could you not know the accuracy? It's your own son. I'm like, you know what? I've been criticized in the past for live streaming stuff and making statements like that without saying.
You've been at shootings before?
No, saying just like as a reporter, oh, you're a reporter, you can't make statements like.
I don't see anyone pointing.
Who knows? I was trying to be responsible with my language when I said.
Oh, I get it. I don't see anyone pointing. This isn't what I wanted to watch.
Keep going. Wait. Abby, are you inside or outside? My son just said that on the phone.
Yeah, but see, they're pointing the thorns.
They're all pointing at the. No, they're pointing at the. If you're there, they're pointing at in the direction of the Losi Center.
Well, let's do this. Let's go back to Google Maps. I don't think that's where they're pointing. Or Google Earth.
You can pull up maps and try and refute, eyewitness testimony. But as a guy who's there, I'm telling you, that's what they were pointing, and that's why the cops swarmed that building, not because of the grand.
No, I'm not saying there's a grand conspiracy.
He's telling me, the cops swarmed that building for a reason, because 3,500 people said it came from that building. I went to the building and filmed the cops because the cops had swarmed that building. So, it's all, as far as the logical progression of events, the cops, everybody heard the shot, everybody told the cops went to that building, thus I filmed the cops on that building. It wasn't some Grandmaster Dr. Evil and George Soros in my freaking earpiece telling me nowhere to do that. That was the main point of your video. This minutia of trying to get into whether or not the Losi Center actually rises above the trees or not is absolutely off topic. As far as you spent an hour video accusing me of being involved in a conspiracy and saying that people are telling me in my ear what to do.
Never accused you of being in a conspiracy.
You knew that it made sense to you, and it made total sense that that's the case. That's what you said in your hour video.
Here's where you're
Pausing
standing.
5 minutes of my footage and making baseless claims.
I didn't make any
accusing me of things that resulted in your followers DMing me and spamming my
followers.
comments with accusations.
Can I show you this here?
Take responsibility for what you did.
I didn't do anything. I'm going to take responsibility for...
You should have reached out in advance. You didn't. You should have reached out in advance. If you reached out in advance, maybe we could have had a live stream and had a discussion about this and this minutia bullshit where you spent an hour...
can I show you the map here?
You spent an hour dragging me through the mud, and now you want to sit here and talk about whether or not your theory lines up. Your conspiracy theory, dude. You made an hour of footage out of pausing 5 minutes of mine where I'm carrying it, made the dumbest accusations I've ever heard, and your idiot followers have been attacking.
I don't have idiot followers. Can I point to this here?
Yes, get back to your ridiculous point that has no bearing on anything from your previous video. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So it has plenty of bearing. So you're here at the corner. The staircase is here. You're talking to people who are pointing, and they're pointing this way.
No,
the problem with your story is
I didn't
that
give a shit about what those guys said. I didn't care what those guys said. I only wanted to film the rooftop. That's what you said.
I'm asking you a specific question.
Why did you say that?
Because all you filmed...
I didn't care what those guys said. You made the assertion that I didn't give a shit.
It looked like you didn't care. Can you answer this question?
I was only talking to them to film the roof behind them.
How what it looked like? I've already told you it looked like that. Can you answer this question?
Pull up your screen from last time where you said that. Why would you say that?
Hey, I invited you on to try to... Oh my gosh. Are you done? Can I ask you this?
Why would you make that claim? Why would you make a claim?
Why is it when I'm trying to point to something that's an impossibility?
It's irresponsible to make an hour...
No, I think it's irresponsible to go into filibuster mode when I'm asking you a specific question about angle.
Without reaching out in advance. You don't think that was irresponsible?
No. Now, you're in this corner. You're in this corner right here, where this white dot is. You're talking to these guys who are pointing where?
I think that if you look at if you try and find where
This is the Losi Center sniper's nest.
the sea level height of those buildings, you'll see that the Losi Center is actually comes up above that one. And I actually took another video. I went back with my camera, took a video from the perspective of where Charlie Kirk got shot, and you can clearly see that the Losi Center rises above the level of that other building that you were trying to make.
Well, where Charlie Kirk got shot.
So,
Well, where Charlie Kirk got shot, this Sorensen Center is not in the way. But where you're talking to these guys,
Sorensen Center actually is in the way. The peak of the Sorensen Center roof is in the way. But you wouldn't know that because you haven't bothered to do any checking on any of the claims that you've made. You haven't bothered to do anything. If you go down in there, you'll see the peak of that roof. If Charlie Kirk moved over 3 feet to his left, the peak of the Sorensen Center would be in the way.
All right. If I was a very guilty person, I would filibuster when someone's trying to point out angles.
Dude, you made an hour's worth of claims, and you won't even bother to accept responsibility.
I'm going to show you. You take the sniper's nest to Charlie Kirk, and the Sorensen Center is not in the way.
You're changing the subject. You're trying to make it about this crap about the alignment of the shot. That's irrelevant, dude. You accused me of having people in my ear telling me what to do.
No, I didn't.
You accused me.
I suggested it looked like it, and I believe that.
About what those kids said, that I was bullshitting and only filming them. I'm sitting there having a discussion with those guys. You said that I didn't want that guy's comments to be on video, where he's complimenting my equipment and asking me about it. Like, why would I?
Because he's down here on the screen, bro.
I sit there and talk to him. I was moving around, and then when I talk to those guys, I move the camera so that their faces are right in the center.
You've heard of the term crash out, right? You've heard of the term crash out.
You're being critical of the time when I'm literally moving the tripod from place to place.
And I go back to the map.
You have the dumbest conspiracy theories on the internet.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
You're not talking about a crash.
If they're dumb, prove them wrong.
The dumbest conspiracy theory ever.
If they're dumb, then this should be easy to prove wrong. Okay. Sniper nest where Charlie Kirk was.
Carrying the tripod around from place to place, that's the stupidest accusation ever.
This is the sniper nest. This is where Charlie Kirk was. Oh my God, dude! Please stop! Stop!
You made an hour's content out of 3 minutes of footage where I'm moving from place to place. Can you just pull it up? You're sitting here making the same claim. I was literally.
Because I'm going to show you that what you just said.
No, you're talking about.
Dude, you are crashing out.
You're talking about trajectory, dude.
No, I'm talking about buildings in the way.
What does this have to do with you accusing me of having something in my ear? Go ahead.
Okay. I didn't accuse you. I said it appeared as if.
Go back to your live stream. Let's go ahead and pull that up, Jamie.
But let me tell you. Will you accept my sincerest apology?
I have a list of the assertions that you made. I have a list of the assertions.
And I take them back. I apologize. I denounce them. I recant. All right. Now answer the question about.
You are, a responsible journalist.
I'm not a journalist.
Okay. If you said in your last stream that you are an investigative.
I'm an investigative journalist.
Okay.
All right. Answer the question.
If you are what you claim to be.
This is a stupid conspiracy theory. Can you please get rid of this in like 2 seconds?
Let me speak.
Hey,
hang on a second. I'll accept your apology if you say that you'll be responsible.
I'm going to mute him for a second because I got to say this. I want the audience to know that when I got to where what he was saying mathematically would not work.
Responsibility, you can't take responsibility. What a pussy.
When I got to where the mathematics don't work and don't support his story, he went into filibuster mode and crashed out. I just want to point that out. Okay. Now, can we get back to
filibuster mode? I said I would accept your apology.
I have apologized.
Be more responsible.
Now, let's go over the angles here.
Now that you've blown up, can you let me finish? Can I finish, please?
I will give you 30 seconds to say whatever you want if you promise you'll answer these questions in just a minute. Because I didn't invite you on to crash out. I invited you on to answer questions, and I was being respectful. And then you just went crazy.
Your last video was the farthest thing from respectful that I've ever fucking heard of. So don't give me this crash out bullshit. Can I finish what I was saying, please?
I said you could have 30 seconds. You're wasting it. Go.
Okay. If you will say that you'll be responsible as a journalist now that you have blown up and have this platform going forward, I'll accept your apology and answer whatever questions you have about the trajectory or whatever to the best of my ability.
All right, let's talk angles. Go back to Google.
Are you going to be responsible going forward before you drive?
I'm going to be me. I cannot guarantee that I'm never going to irritate.
You're not a responsible journalist. Why am I wasting time with a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist?
What? All you have to do, if I'm so easy
No,
and
dude,
so
you're the
stupid,
one
just
making,
point
you're the
out why
one
what I'm
making the
saying is
claims.
ludicrous.
You made the bullshit claims, and you
I
won't
mean,
answer
I've
for them.
apologized for them. Move on.
No,
You're like a bad ex-wife that will not accept
your
apology.
apology was bullshit, dude.
Okay. Do you see this
Accept
yellow line here?
responsibility for what you did.
Do you? I do. Do you see this yellow line here?
Yeah,
This yellow line goes from the sniper's nest to Charlie Kirk's tent. And it does not cross the Sorensen Center. It goes right beside it. You see that, right? It goes from here to a clean shot of the sniper center.
And from the position that I was at, it would be a different angle.
So, you come out
So,
into this and out of this stairwell, and you say people are pointing this way. They cannot see the Sorensen Center from here. What building are they pointing at? There's a large
they're
white
pointing
building
in
in
the
the way.
direction that they heard the shot come from with their ears. That's what they're pointing at. So,
And
this
what building is in that way where they're
would be-
pointing? That's what I'm
this
asking.
Pelosi Center is taller than this building, so anybody from any position except for where the tree is can see Pelosi Center above this building. Anybody from any position except for where I was with that tree in my way.
Now, that's not true, and here's how I know that's not true.
Anybody else?
You
can
were
see it.
actually
So
on.
that building
the
is
roof.
taller. That building is taller. So it rises.
You were on a 15-foot roof up here and could not see it.
You know, I don't know if your conspiracy theory about the
It's not a
gunfire,
conspiracy.
the gunfire
Hey,
conspiracy as far as the, the rifle blast, whatever that, if you're saying that is actually the,
let me ask. This is
I
just
have no
man.
idea.
This is just
I don't
man.
get into listen, I don't get into conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
You were
That's what I
on
do.
the roof, 15 feet
I
in
have
the
no
air,
idea.
and could not see the
I'm
Sorensen
telling you
Center.
that in my opinion,
Now you're.
in my opinion, if that is muzzle flash, it would probably be actually in line with what the FBI says. That's my opinion. So
Okay.
I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to debate with you on your bullshit conspiracies. My opinion is that if that is muzzle flash in my footage that I took while I was there,
It came
because I
off
was
the
on the
footage.
ground,
Yeah.
because I was on the ground doing something, because I was with the footage that I made. If that is muzzle flash, I believe, in my opinion, that it actually enforces what the FBI is saying. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
All right,
So-
I got it. Let's go back to what I was trying to do before your 40-minute filibuster here.
Filibuster, dude, you spent over 40 minutes making bullshit claims about me and dragging my name through the mud.
We don't have to wonder whether you can see the the Losi Center from here. We can tell for a fact you can't.
Yeah, guess where I am now? Now
On the ground.
I'm in the courtyard.
Yeah,
Previously,
that's
when I
my
was up,
point. You were in the point.
you
When the guys were pointing.
you see the elevated position right there? See, that would give you a different perspective than just like when you have the difference between a live stream and a
Show me
recorded
the,
raw
show me
video
the
file.
Losi Center. This is where
You
the
have
guys were pointing.
You have
Show
a
me the
different
Losi Center in
perspective.
this-
When somebody's 20 feet above you, they have a different perspective. So, who knows, dude? I'm not here to debate your conspiracy. I don't care.
All right, show me in this, because this is where the guys were pointing. Show me where the Losi Center is. And
We are down in a different. See, now we're down in the hole.
exactly
So-
where they were pointing. This is where
Yeah,
they were
we're
pointing.
pointing in
These
the
are the guys
direction
who
of
were
where the
pointing.
Losi Center is.
These
So,
are the guys
yeah.
who were pointing. You
Correct.
turn your
They're
camera.
pointing-
Please show me the
They're
Losi
pointing that way. The Losi Center is right on the other side of this rooftop. They're pointing in the direction where they heard the shot come from. That's what they're doing.
Okay. And my point is,
So,
it could have been the Sorensen Center, which is in that same direction. So you
That's
saying
right.
that they're
I don't
pointing
care.
that way does not
I
just prove
don't
anything else.
care. I don't care that you disagree with the FBI. I could give a shit about that. I
I
do
disagree
not
with the
care.
FBI on a lot of things.
I don't care. I do not
Do you believe
care.
everything the FBI said?
I don't care that you have a conspiracy theory. I don't
Do you
care.
believe everything the FBI said?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
But until I have a better, story, right now the FBI is the one that, to me, makes them Occam's razor is that this kid went up there and shot him. So,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything better from you, from anybody else, from Candace Owens. I don't think I don't think Israel played a part in it. So
I haven't blamed Israel.
if you want to parse through the odds and ends of your conspiracy theories, buddy, I'm not the right guy for that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I was
Go
just
ahead. If
asking.
you want to do that, if you want to operate in that sphere, and not
Do you know why I'm at?
if
Do
you
you
want
know
to operate in that sphere and not be a responsible journalist, you're welcome to do that. But
Do
if
you
you're
know
going to
why?
talk about somebody for an hour and make up bullshit lies about them, reach out to them in advance.
Do you know why I'm asking you if you can see the Losi Center from here? Why? Do you know why that's a relevant question? Do you have are you high enough IQ to understand why that's
I say that you're a guy with a platform that should actually do that in advance? Do you understand that?
Okay. I'm asking. I'll just explain for the crowd. The reason, folks, that
I don't care. So you're going through these explanations, and I just don't care.
I know, but they do. But let me explain it to them.
Okay, well, you can explain it to them.
I'm asking,
so if you have any more questions about why
the reason I'm asking is because
if you have any more questions,
because he said that those guys were pointing at the Losi Center, and they couldn't possibly.
I'm not staying in here and being muted, so you can have a good stream.
Well,
if you have any more questions about why I filmed something in particular,
I'm trying to ask you the questions.
No, you're trying to parse through bullshit conspiracy theories. I'm not here for that. I don't care about that shit, dude.
Hey, dude, I was 30 minutes ahead in this video.
I'm not here to make up conspiracy theories with you. That's not why I came on here. I came on because you dragged my name through the mud for over an hour. I don't care about your theory. I don't care about your trajectory. I don't care about that stuff, dude.
That's clear.
In advance, maybe I would have had this discussion with you if you had been a responsible person, but you weren't, and you aren't.
Oh, I'm glad that.
Why would I care? Why would I give a shit about your theory, dude? I don't care. So
that's clear. You made that clear.
I'm not going to sit here while you mute me over and over, dude. So let me tell you this. Let me tell you this before I sign off, okay? Let me tell you this.
Can I go? No, don't sign off.
Let me tell you this, Baron.
And you sent me back there.
Baron.
No, guys, he doesn't want to talk about why he was filming this shot. He does not want to talk about that. Clearly, he wants to get off.
I told you. I explained it in detail.
I asked you. I tried to tell. All right, go ahead. What do you want to say? You got 30 seconds. What do you want to say?
The cops were there. That's why I filmed it. The cops were on the building. Look at the cops.
I'm not filming the cops,
right
dude.
there.
Right there on the corner.
The cops were there. That's why I filmed it. End of story. That's it.
Okay.
So
I was asking how you got here, and you went back to people pointing. So I went to find the people pointing.
I already explained.
Have a good day. Life is driving. I appreciate your time.
The cops yelled at me from the roof, and that's why I went up to this spot. Okay.
And that's why I went to this one spot on this one corner, not looking at the cops, not looking at the roof.
Look, if you zoom in, you'll see that there's cops on the roof on both sides.
Are the cops in the room with us?
The cops are on the roof in that shot right there.
Oh, okay. But you're at the angle where
I filmed that footage.
You know this little divot right here is where the alleged shooter dropped, right? You're right here. Okay.
I'm standing right now in that shot. I'm standing on a knoll, like a little grassy knoll.
And so And so what I was trying to ask you during your filibuster is how you ended up in that location.
Filibuster, dude. It's not a filibuster. You're sitting here trying to parse through stuff that I don't care about. Okay. The way I got to that location was, I already told you, I was going through the center of the Losi Center. Between the Losi Center and the courtyard, trying to get to the other side of the building where my wife was. We got yelled at by the cops on the roof. And they said, you can't go this way. So I went around the other way, and we went up those stairs. We got up to that grassy knoll, and I thought, that's a good spot to get an angle, a good vantage point of where the cops are on the roof of this building that, to me, it sounded like that's where the shot came from. So that's why I was in this position, because there's police on the roof that just
over
yelled
here,
at me.
right? Way over here? The cops are over here?
They're on the other side of this roof. No, they're on the other side. There is cops there, and they're on the other side.
Yeah. But you're focused on this corner for some reason.
No, I'm not focused on any corner. I've got the whole building in view.
Okay.
If I was focused on the corner, I would have zoomed in. I can zoom in with my camera, but I didn't zoom in. I got the whole building in there. Yeah. Do you not know what a zoom is?
Now, what are you doing here where you're walking away from the building?
Hang on. No, go back a second. Do you not know what focusing in on an angle is?
Yeah, I do. Hey, so you roll up.
No.
Go back a second. 52 minutes.
If I was focused on that angle, I would have zoomed in, you freaking moron.
Okay, so you roll up at 52 minutes.
You claim to be a formerly in the business. You don't even know what a focus shot is.
I claim to be in the business.
I'm not focused in. It's not that corner is not even in the center of the shot, dude. The building is.
Like the people are not in the center of your shot.
I've got the building from left to right because hang on. Because right beforehand, the cops yelled at me from the other side of this building that I'm videoing. And so I saw that with my eyeballs because I was an eyewitness. I saw, the cops are on the roof. I'm going to go and video this building. That's why I was there. That's who told me to. My eyeballs did.
Gotcha. Okay, so you come to this building.
If I was focused, I would have been zoomed in on the corner.
Talking and answer my question.
Dude.
Hey, if I ask you questions and you think they're stupid, then answer them in a way.
Why are you focused in on this? I'm not focused in on that corner. Can you not see the entire building there? Are you blind?
Gotcha. Okay. So
It's called willful ignorance.
So you roll up on this building
You are
at 52
so
minutes.
confident in your armchair
You won't
ignorance.
shut
where
up long enough for me to be confident.
You're sitting here with your little bullshit theories, and then you're like, "Why are you focused in on this corner?" Dude, I'm not focused on the corner. I've got the whole fucking building in there. You moron! What is wrong with you?
Do you have the whole building in this
all
shot?
all you care about is your conspiracy theories. That's all
It's
you
not a
care about.
conspiracy theory. If it's
Which is why you didn't give a shit about dragging my name through the mud. You didn't
I've
give
been
a shit about
on the
Phil Lyman.
program when
You didn't
people
bother
tried
to
to read
reach
the
out to
comments.
Phil Lyman, a very public figure. You could have reached out to Phil Lyman in advance.
I did today.
In advance. Yeah, today. That's after the fact, you doofus. What's wrong with you? I just said in advance.
Who calls people
Are you
stupid?
freaking stupid? See,
Who
you're
calls
not
people
responsible.
stupid? Okay.
You're not a
So
responsible.
you roll up.
You are a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit.
Duly noted. You roll
Thank
up
for the
on
last
this building.
24 hours. Thank you for the last 24 hours.
You roll up on this building at
absolute
52 minutes.
piece of human garbage. So,
You roll up on this building at 52 minutes.
Yeah. Dude, I don't care.
And your statement you just made is
I don't
that-
care. I already told you why I was filming that building. So
I know, and I want to just demonstrate that your statement doesn't make sense.
I'm not parsing through my statement with you. What part of that did you not understand?
Well, why did you come on then? I thought we were here to talk about your video.
You dragged my name through the mud,
Oh,
and now
I
you want to sit here and talk about trajectory and angles and all this
No,
stuff.
no. I'm off. I'm on the building
If
now.
you were a responsible journalist, we could have done this. I'm not doing that.
We're doing it now.
So
I'm
ask
very
your
responsible.
question. Ask your question. Next. We talked about this building. Next.
Okay, you
Go ahead.
roll up on the building at 52 minutes. You're watching it because the cops are there, so it's drawing your
Correct.
attention to it.
Next. Yep.
How long do you stay on it? 2 minutes.
I don't know. I have no
2
idea.
minutes. I'm telling you, 2 minutes.
I got a good view. I wanted to get a good view of the cops on the building before I moved on. That was it, dude.
Okay.
Who cares?
So, but my point is, if you're there to see what the cops are doing,
and then,
you're
and
just,
then at this
will
point,
you stop talking?
so this is
Stop
when the
talking.
guy pulls me in my ear to pan around to show the camera on that building, right?
All right. So you show up to show what the cop. Are you there to show what the cops are doing, or that cops are there? Period. I guess that's my
I'm
question.
just there to record the aftermath of the event. I'm in shock. I just took my kid to a public execution, and I'm just only recording for the sake of recording. That's it. I thought the cops were there. That looked interesting for a minute, and then we moved on to the next shot. I didn't see a camera on the corner of that building. I pan over to that building for a second. You pause it in your live stream and spend 20 minutes or something talking about how the people in my ear told me that I need to get a perfect shot of that 360-degree camera on the parking structure or whatever. But it's a blip in the radar. I videoed that spot for a second and then moved on. Like, once again, we're back to the dumbest conspiracy theories I've ever been a part of. Thank you for including me in that.
No, again, if they're dumb, then they should be easy to disprove, and you just
Well, they are
listen to the question.
if you watch the footage, but you pause it in one
Stop
spot. You
talking.
pause it in one
You
one
listen to
arbitrary
the
spot.
question,
Hang
and
on a
then you
second.
go.
How come I can't make a fucking point without you cutting me off, dude?
Because you won't shut up.
Okay. No,
Because you won't shut
listen
up.
to me. You pause the video in one arbitrary spot that fits your bullshit narrative, and you make 20 minutes of content on it. And I'm telling you, that was 1 second. I videoed the corner of that building for 1 minute. I didn't see any cops on that building. I didn't video that building intentionally. I videoed the building with the cops intentionally. The video that you pause and say, look at this. The people in his ear told him that he needed to video this camera where we got the camera angle from the FBI to legitimize their theory. Like, dude, that's utter bullshit. I saw that for 1 second. You paused it. You paused my footage for 1 minute for a moment in time that fits your narrative perfectly. That's what you did. You're only viewing the footage that fits your conspiracy theory world that you live in.
So can I ask my question? Now that you've spoken uninterrupted, will you answer my question?
Let me I didn't finish yet. This is exactly like at the very start of my stream where I'm going from position to position and you pause the footage while I'm carrying the camera over my head. It briefly glimpses the Losi Center where the official sniper nest story is, and you pause it on that brief moment in time where I glimpse that spot, and you get a half hour's content out of it saying that I've been told to video that spot to make sure it's clear as a spotter. Like, dude, that was 1 second, just like this is 1 second in the footage, and you have chosen to pause it because it fits your ridiculous narrative.
Can I ask my question now?
Go ahead, ask the next question. It better be about a different building.
No. This is an important building. The Losi Center is the only important building.
And I thought, no, we're talking about this little parking structure
No, I'm not done. I'm not done with the Losi Center. Stop.
Move on. Move
No,
on. I told you why.
You don't get to tell me to move on my own show.
I already told you why I was at the Losi Center. I'm not parsing through your theory.
And I'm telling you.
Through your theory. No, stop telling me. Ask me your question about the next thing, because we already talked about the
Were
Losi
you
Center.
there to show that there were cops on the building, or were you there to show what the cops were doing on the building? That's my question.
You already asked this question. I already answered it, which was that I wanted to just get an idea, give people an idea of where the cops were at for a minute before I moved on. The cops had just yelled at me from that building, so I videoed that building for a minute. They just yelled at me from that building, so I was like, oh, let me just video this building for a minute. That makes sense.
So now you wander through the parking lot here.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Okay, so that's not a parking lot?
I don't go through the parking lot. I just go up to the sidewalk there.
Well, I'm just going to let it roll for a second. So
you my tripod for a minute.
So what are you doing? Talk to me about what you're doing here. Because you said I freeze 1 second. So tell me what's going on here.
I'm walking. I can't see what the camera's pointed at right now. I'm just walking with my tripod.
Okay.
So we're in the process of moving around, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can go this way to get to the front of the thing, and then we look around. I'm like,
and then you just happen to. When you sit, it's amazing though. When you set stuff down, you always set it down exactly on things that make the news.
At this point, I just plunked it down, so I'm probably not looking at the iPad. If the camera starts to pan around, then I will be looking at where it's shot. Right now, I'm probably looking at my phone.
This is not a still frame for people back home.
We're calling my wife at this moment, so that's what we're doing. So right now, the camera's there. I'm not even like pointed at anything. I just plunked it down after walking. We just walked from one place. I walked to the next one. That was what was in the frame. There was nothing significant about that building at the time, so I just plunked it down. And if you listen to the volume, I'm talking off camera to my son because we're trying to find out where my wife is.
So you would understand why people might find this as suspicious, considering this exact image is what showed up the next day when they said, "Oh, look, the camera that got the entire shooting on." If it came from Lowe's,
I can, out of context, after you pile on all the the assertions that you made. See, now here I'm actually paying attention to where I'm going. Okay, now I just picked it up
back on the corner where the guy dropped.
I didn't pan it. So if you go back, we can probably turn up the volume and listen.
I don't want to go back. I want to.
No, hang on. See, that's the problem. You don't want to go back and understand the context of the situation, which is how we got here in the first place, Baron. Okay.
Where are the cops? Show me the cops.
No, stop for a second. Go back to where we were. Okay. I told you that I was not focused in on any particular building. I had just planted my tripod down because I wasn't sure where we were going. And if you pull up the volume, we could probably hear that I'm talking off camera to my son or to my wife because we're trying to figure out where to go next, because I'm not sure exactly where she's at the time. So the camera's not on any specific thing, but you don't care about the context enough to try and go dig into the details and try and, what's he saying?
I do. I care.
What's he saying in between here? No, you just said, I don't want to go back.
I care tremendously about the context.
Just like you said.
You just told me to stop going back to that building.
You just said, I don't want to go back. Just like previously when somebody in your comments before I came on here said, why didn't you call me? You said, I got a job. I don't have time to do all that.
I don't.
That's the exact same question. You not wanting to go back and dig into the details and find out on that specific section why I was on that thing, because I actually wasn't even looking at the camera. I was actually talking to someone on the phone or whatever, doing whatever I was doing in the background, because you don't care about the context of that. You just want to move forward to the next thing that, the next whatever. And I'm sitting here trying to explain why was it on that insignificant building? At the time, I wasn't looking at the camera. I was not even bothering with it. I just plunked it down. We were trying to figure out where we were going. And then instead of panning around and getting a better shot, I just pick up the tripod again and start moving.
All right. Am I able to ask you a question again? Are you done building?
Now, go ahead.
Okay. So you understand why when you focused on the corner where the guy dropped and there were no cops in the frame, and then you turn and you focus on the building behind that then becomes a big part of the story, because that's the building that has the camera that got what the entire shooting, allegedly, got it on camera, and that's the footage that was released by the FBI. And then you turn and you focus here on the parking lot where the guy was known to have egressed off of campus. You understand now, and supposedly stored the gun by the chicken coop right over here.
I don't understand how you could possibly come up with these conspiracy theories. If you watch my video with the volume up, and you listen to what's going on in the context of any given spot in my video, you'll be able to understand.
Let me ask you, what's right over there?
Do you know what a full comprehension of what's going on? So now at this point, I'm going to walk down and walk to the left. If you look at where the shooter goes on the videos, he crosses over this grass. We probably just crossed paths right there.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
He goes to the right, and I go to the left.
That's crazy. So, yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I mean, it's as if you filmed exactly where he was going to go, or where he went.
He had already been there.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, when I first planted myself on the top of that grassy knoll videoing the roof of the Losi Center, I was thinking, the cops are up there, something important might happen up there. And so I was videoing for a minute, I was like, man, they're just standing there, like, yelling at people from the rooftop like they did to me. And then I decided to move on. Like, so, I don't know at the time, I had no idea where the guy jumped off the roof or whatever. I had no confirmation.
I mean, it's an amazing coincidence, I'll give you that.
Other than
which is why I was drawing attention
about life. It's full of them.
I mean,
the reality is that you're going to have coincidences and all this in real life. Real life is not this in a lab, perfect scenarios.
You see how you're acting now? This is how you should have acted the whole time, and you'd had credibility.
Dude, I'm sitting here. I don't care about credibility. You're the one who. Credibility, dude. You spent an hour pausing my footage at brief moments in time and making claims that I've got somebody in my ear and that I'm some secret agent involved in a conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk and wrongfully.
I didn't say anything about you killing Charlie Kirk. So did not allege you were involved at all. I just said
your followers have said I have blood on my hands. Yes, exactly. That's the problem. So when you want to talk about had I come in here with this demeanor or whatever, I did come in here with this demeanor. You don't take any responsibility for your actions. You don't take any responsibility for the results of your actions, which are your followers based off of your actions coming into my comments telling me that I have blood on my hands, asking how much I was paid. Those are your followers, and you don't care because you're not taking responsibility. So when you want to talk about demeanor, this is the real problem. So you want to talk about conspiracy theories, but you don't want to take any responsibility for the results of your words and your actions. You have a platform here, and you are abusing it, and you're being irresponsible. Yes,
I'm giving you the opportunity to hang yourself, and you're doing it.
It results in your followers coming into my comments and into my DMs and saying that I have blood on my hands. That's a direct result of your actions, sir. So don't talk to me about my demeanor coming onto your show.
Yeah, well,
be a more responsible journalist if you want to have a real civil discussion with people. That might be the first step. And actually, that is the first step, because the first step of a responsible journalist would be, I'm gonna disparage this guy for an hour and a half.
I didn't disparage him
first. Go DM him on Twitter. You did. Bullshit, dude. You did. Bullshit.
All right.
And the crap coming from your followers proves it. So don't give me this. You didn't disparage me, dude. That is such
people free to do whatever they want.
You're pathetic, man. You are pathetic.
Yeah.
And
I do know that. Agreed. All right.
This is like just unbelievably irresponsible. Just
it is not irresponsible.
And for you to I don't take any responsibility for what the people say based off of my own action, based off of what you said, sir. Based off of what you said. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, so I'm back anytime.
If you ever want to talk about why I specifically filmed a specific thing, I'd be happy to. But
I've been asking you that. You won't.
No, but you keep on going back to, if you'd have come in here with this demeanor.
Bullshit, well, you were polite there for a few minutes.
You're the one who set the situation up by being an irresponsible douchebag. So stop talking about demeanor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
now,
it's not irresponsible when there's something that has, as you admitted, coincidence after person.
You are irresponsible as a journalist. You didn't bother to.
Can I finish?
You didn't bother to check and see if my live stream actually went down. You spent an hour reviewing tiny little moments. An hour and 9. You didn't even know the difference between a raw video file and a live stream. Seriously? And you spent an hour making claims. Oh, you know how many times I got tagged in a dozen tweets today. Candace, This was the only guy allowed to live stream that day. I had a guy actually reach out to me and then apologize later because he decided to watch the footage. And he said, "Man, I apologize. I had only, let me pull up."
Yeah, I don't want to hear. Listen, what I'm going to say is,
and that's the root of the problem, you douchebag. You don't want to hear it because you don't want to take responsibility for what you did.
you admitted there was coincidence after coincidence after coincidence.
Barron doesn't want to take responsibility. That's the root of the problem.
I hope you're talking about him and not me.
Barron doesn't want to go back. Barron Coleman doesn't want to go back and listen to the context of a given situation. He just wants to move on to his next claim. Barron doesn't care about doesn't want to take responsibility. He doesn't care about the actions of his followers or the people that take what he says as gospel.
Okay. No one takes what I say as gospel.
That's the root of all.
No, I make a statement at the beginning of every show. You can watch it. That I make no. I cast no aspersions. I make no.
And you actually have weight with what you say.
So we can both talk.
No, I'm not going to stop talking. I'm not stopping.
Hang yourself. Here's rope. Go. Make yourself look more guilty. Go.
Aaron,
It's you.
I make myself look guilty, dude. I don't care about your theory. I don't care. So if you want to ask a question, but don't sit here and try and parse through.
I can't. Every time I ask you a question, you filibuster.
Yeah, no. Every time you ask a question, I try to give you an answer.
I don't want to go back.
I don't want to go back to it. I don't want to go back to that spot.
Can I finish the question?
I don't care about the greater context.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't care about my responsibility as a journalist. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find common ground. Can I ask you a question? Will you let me finish my question?
That depends on if you start making ridiculous statements again.
Okay. You said while we were talking that it was coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. Coincidence about
life is full of coincidences. It's not a coincidence that I filmed a specific rooftop. The cops were there. There's no coincidence there.
All right. Thanks for your time. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you. I can't do that anymore, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I have rarely encountered a someone more filibustery than that guy was for the last however long he was. He's still listening. I'm not going to add him back. You might as well drop, or I'll drop you. There, you're gone. I am beside myself. Let me say this for the record. I apologize to anyone, including him, who believes that I said he was in on it. I will be clear right now. I believe if he was in on it, it would have looked exactly like what he did. I believe that. I don't know whether he was in it. No clue. No idea. But I do know that if someone was in on it, they would come on this program and act just like that. They wouldn't, as soon as you start asking questions and trying to tie them down, they would filibuster and start calling names. And I was polite when he came in. I thought I was polite mostly the whole time. I know if I was going to accuse him of something, I would be clear. I'm not accusing him. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I have a theory of what happened. I have a theory of what happened. I shared it the other night. I do have that theory. But guess what? We all have a theory. Nobody knows. I will say this. I don't trust the FBI who tells me that there's no Epstein list to tell me who shot Charlie Kirk. I don't trust the FBI who told me that Lee Harvey Oswald shot John Kennedy to tell me who shot Charlie Kirk. Sorry. I don't trust the FBI because I don't, as a citizen, have a requirement to trust government. And this is probably the bigger problem. Too many people trust the government in all situations. That's not my role, Adam, to trust the government. That's not my role. My role is to use my First Amendment right to question the government, to petition the government for redress. My job is to commune with fellow like-minded people because I have a right of assembly. Now, there are things you're not allowed to say. I can't get on here and say, so-and-so's a murderer. I know he did it. I know he was in on it. That would be wrong. That's why I don't say those things. Even if I believe it. That's why I don't say those things. But to get on here and say, what did it sound like? I mean, it sounded just like a 30-06 to me. That's weird. Where did it sound like it came from? Well, it sounded like it came from the building there. You can see, actually, if you back up, you'll see where they were pointing at the building. Go down the stairwell. Well, I go down there, I get his exact frame. In the next frame, he turns the camera, and you can't see the building. In fact, they're pointing exactly where I said the shot probably came from. Or in my mind, it probably came from. Which, by the way, he did happen to stop and put up his tripod and face the Charlie Kirk stage from that exact spot. Coincidence. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. Coincidence after coincidence. Oh, yeah. Lots of coincidences and a grassy knoll. Lots of coincidences and a grassy knoll. That's all I know. Oh, man, you should have been there. There's just so many coincidences and some grassy knoll. It's a 30-06, but it sounded like a black cat firecracker. Well, those don't sound the same. So I would bring that up. It was on my list of things to ask you, but you wouldn't stop filibustering for 45 minutes. For over an hour, I think. All right, guys. It's 10 o'clock local time, after 10 o'clock. I was going to keep this to an hour. I was going to be on from 8 to 9 Central Daylight Time. But I went over. I had to. Guys, I did it. I did it. All right. I probably will not be here Sunday night. I try to be here on Sunday nights. I probably will not be because I have plans, and I don't know whether those plans will take me beyond my planned 7 p.m. start time. But you're welcome to subscribe, hit notify, and when I go live, you'll get an idea, and you can join us live for the next show. I will try to get Phil Lyman on. Hopefully Phil is more professional. Or maybe I'll try to get the Dominican photographer on. I like his work, and I would love to hear what that guy had to say about what he was shooting behind the screen. I am not saying any of these people are involved, but I would love to ask them questions, because if they act like he just acted, well, you know. You know. All right, for those of you guys caught that live, that was kind of legendary, I think. That will live in the hearts and minds of you people for a long time. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
I agree with Baron there, man. That guy was just at the right spot at the right time. Just seems too coincidental for me. Make sure y'all go to his channel, like and subscribe, and let's try to get him up to 100,000 followers by New Year's. The dude went right to the corner where the suspect jumped off without, anybody knowing that he jumped off there. Not even the cops knew at that point that he had jumped off there. Nobody had seen the video of him jumping off there, and that dude went there and just posted up right there. You can't even see the cops in his video. You see the corner right where the dude jumped off. That just seemed a little suspicious to me. That dude's name is Life is Driving. Most of the videos that you see about Charlie Kirk video, like he said, all the news agencies and all that wanted his video. He was the only main one that could be able to live stream there too. That just seemed a little weird. But, we're just here to take the facts and truth and facts and see what it is. And these Google Trends are just getting weirder and weirder. All of his lawyers popping up. That's a little crazy. Okay, the link for Baron's channel will be in the description. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you at the next one.